noticed today in going through the Traveler National Merit Scholarship finalist was Greg Dixon. Greg, come on up.
I bought a jacket today, just like Mr. Hamilton. You read it, sure. Yeah. When I saw him in that white jacket, and I realized I had on one too, I remembered that at our senior prom, I think my central achievement as president of the senior class is I worked out a deal with a guy who had a tuxedo rental place. And all the guys, you guys remember this? We were able to buy a white tuxedo for $7. And some people actually wore it throughout the evening before it fell apart. So we had white tuxedos for about the first hour and a half, too. And it really looked good. Well, it's great to represent the class of 1965. That's the group where all the women have gotten more beautiful and more intelligent as the years have gone by, and the men have broadened their lives in a variety of ways, and their foreheads loom larger than ever before. Something about our class, all the guys lost their hair. And several people commented on the fact that I weigh about 60 pounds more than I did when I was in high school, but I put on most of that weight this summer because I knew Max Garrison and Randy Roman were coming. I didn't have to feel in speaking tonight, I represent another group, too. I think it's the people who come from out of town who don't live in Huntsville. I was going over the list today of the people who were going to be here, and I realized about half the people here tonight are from Huntsville or nearby or in Decatur, and but the other half come from quite a far distance. And I think those of us who come back probably have a different experience than those of you who live here all the time. I don't come back to Huntsville very often, haven't in recent years, but it's a very moving experience to come back. I find it very emotional, and I think some of the others do too. As I've talked to you, I've come to resent the way places change from my youth as I've grown older. And I lived in Birmingham and Atlanta and Washington before I moved to Nashville, where I live now. But we had a little get-together around the swimming pool out at the hotel where some of us were staying, and had a really wonderful time trying to guess who each other was. And most of us had bathing suits on and shorts, and so it was a pretty raggedy lot. Very children were jumping in the swimming pools, and John Drummond he actually locked his children in the bedroom for about 3 hours, sending them pizza every now and then. So we had a real responsible group out there. We got up this morning and went to, a bunch of us raided Shoney's. Niles Prestige claimed to have special influence there, seeing as how he spent about $6,000 in untold hours there in his youth. And of course, they didn't know him, and we got shuffled in the back, room as far away from the breakfast bar as you can get. But Niles got us in, and we appreciate that. We try to make a donation to our school. It could be a modest donation, depending on what you can afford. And I'll talk with JR and with the group that organized this event tonight about how we could do that. And I'm not sure donating for what. Sally and I went by Lee High School last night, and it just about burned down a few weeks ago, and it is in rough shape right now as a physical plant. But they're going to get that back together. But I submit there are probably some special needs at Lee High School that we might be able to help out with. And I think I have a lot more affection towards my high school in any way than I do towards my college. I suspect many of you feel the same way. So I propose that we send out a memo to both of our classes as a start. Perhaps the other classes will want to do that. And maybe annually or every year or two, we make a modest contribution, and we could probably pull together $2,000 or $3,000 out of this group. I hear Max Garrison could do that all by himself.